All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for the City of Dauphin, July 12th, 2021. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather this evening is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Reel. Be it resolved that the council accepts the regular agenda as presented. And we'll move forward on that. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting. That was the regular council meeting of June 21st, 2021. Any questions on that? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Reel. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as followed and form part of these minutes. Those items are the outstanding water accounts, which are added to taxes. Those would be 215 Edgar Avenue, $86.20. That was for the previous tenant that did not pay the final utility bill. And it was the same for 12 2nd Avenue Northwest, $18.90 for a total of $105.10. And the second outstanding accounts receivable added to taxes, the receivables added to taxes, that is 48 Industrial Road, $420.32. These are all for temporary storage C cans. 48 Industrial Road, $420.32. 14 3rd Avenue Southeast, $420.31. And 212 2nd Avenue Southwest, $840.64. So that total there, $1,681.27, and that's as recommended by the Director of Finance and the Tax Clerk. Just before we move on, I'll ask if there's any questions on that. Seeing none there, I will continue to the filing items. Association of Manitoba Municipalities, AMM, stuff here, AMM Parkland Director's Update, that was for June 2021. News Bulletin for July 9th of 2021. News release, AMM welcomes new and returning Board of Directors, member advisories, the June 2021 district resolutions, Canada Community Revitalization Fund, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, that's FCM, FCM Connect, June 22nd, 29th, and July 6th and the 9th there. Manitoba Media Releases, Indigenous and Northern Relations, $2.5 million to commemorate Indigenous residential school burial sites and COVID-19 bulletins. For Municipal Relations, Bill 25, the Municipal Statutes Amendment Act, and COVID-19 update for municipalities. Community Futures Parkland Newsletter for June, Manitoba's Central Services Federal Gas Tax Fund 2021-22 payment, and the Multi-Material Stewardship for Manitoba 2020 Annual Report. Thompson Chamber of Commerce, lack of EV charging in northern Manitoba, and Bell MTS wireless home internet service in rural and remote communities. And that, of course, as recommended by the Deputy Mayor and the City Manager. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Opposed? This motion carried. Right, moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the July 12th meeting from the City Manager. Take it away, City Manager.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. It has been 3 weeks since our last meeting, and things are getting a little back to normal in terms of the frequency of meetings. There's been a lot going on at the end of June and beginning of July. In terms of updates, my usual COVID-19 update, Based on the current public health orders, there will be no changes to the operations of our city facilities. However, we are seeing changes, I guess, being talked about from the province. And so we do eagerly await any updates that we receive from the province in terms of being able to open up more or include more people in meetings or open up our public areas to more public people. So that's something that we are looking forward to. I know that the vaccination super site at the Ukrainian Orthodox Hall or the 8th Avenue Hall has been seeing a lot of people come through for vaccinations. However, we still remain diligent at our facilities regarding general hygiene protocols. Another update I have is the Watson Arts Center City of Dauphin Liaison Committee, an update from them. So in late 2019, early 2020, the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council, which is an organization that leases the Watson Arts Center from the City of Dauphin, approached the city regarding forming a committee involving representation from both sides with the purpose to discuss maintenance and renovation projects at the Watson Arts Center. The group's first meeting was delayed due to restrictions on gathering sizes and various levels of comfort involving COVID-19 restrictions and protocols. However, the first meeting did eventually take place in April 2021. That one was in person. And since then, we've held two more meetings, which were virtual. The meeting on June 23rd was focused on reviewing a list of renovation projects which were created at that April meeting, assigning responsibility for funding based on which entity required the work or the change, and programming a possible year to complete the projects based on need and funding available. It's evident that many of the projects related to accessibility. So we also discussed a grant called the Enabling Accessibility Fund. The Watson Art Center's coordinator was tasked to complete a grant application for this Enabling Accessibility Fund and submit it by the deadline. I wrote down June 30th, but it's actually the deadline is July 30th. So we did hold a brief meeting in July, on July 7th, to review the requirements of the application, which includes a letter of support from the building owner, which is us, and that is being discussed later on this agenda. It appears that there may be some safety-related items that are addressed in 2021, but the bulk of the renovations will be slated for 2022 and beyond, based on available city funding and grant funding. The Watson Arts Center City of Dauphin Liaison Committee will be prepared with information to present to Council at our 2022 capital planning meeting in December of 2021. Another update, and this one's about Pioneer Park. So the facility we know as Parkland Crossing in Dauphin used to be the Mackay Residential School. With the recent finding and reporting of unmarked graves at sites of several former residential schools, Wayne Olson, the community minister with Dauphin Church of Christ or Parkland Crossing, approached the city requesting information about the lands adjacent to the site, namely Pioneer Park. And that's related between the current facility and the Vermilion River. Mr. Olson is working with elders of the First Nations in Treaty 2 territory to proceed with searching the land of the former residential school. Mr. Olson required if the city could confirm the history of Pioneer Park's ownership back to 1955. Our electronic and paper and anecdotal records could not confirm the municipality owned the land earlier than the 1980s. So there is an agenda item today to recommend a historical search from land titles. I don't think that anybody else owned it before us, but it would or before that time before us, but it would be nice to get that clarified and confirmed. I do note that if there was any ownership other than the city of Dauphin or town of Dauphin after 1955, we would be included in that search or may be included in that search. In terms of human resources, during the last 3 weeks since our council meeting, I've been working on several human resource related items. The first is the recruitment for the new deputy city manager, and that item will be discussed later on in this meeting in the in-camera session. And I've also been working on yearly performance reviews with managers. I completed one review during the week of July 5th, as well as a probationary review during the same week. And I completed 2 other managerial yearly reviews this morning. And the last item I wanted to talk about, I wanted to wish a congratulations to Ashton Kalita for being chosen to sit on the Provincial Student Advisory Council. That's a group of young people aged 14 to 18 who will meet regularly with the Minister of Education, government staff, and education stakeholders to join discussions on the future of education and providing insights and advice on issues and topics that are current and emerging for Manitoba kindergarten to grade 12 students. There were close to 200 applications from across Manitoba of people who wanted to be members of the Student Advisory Council, but only 30 were chosen. The council term is 12 months starting August 2021. Some of you will remember that Ashton was the City of Dauphin's Youth Council member when he was in grade 9. Ashton is going into grade 12 this year. And so good luck, Ashton, on your term as a Student Advisory Council member with the province. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions of that report? Seeing none, I will call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers and seconded by Councillor Reel. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for tonight's meeting. That would be of the ICT manager. Any questions on that report? And seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the finance accounts have been examined by council and be hereby authorized and approved as follows. There were 94 checks totaling just over $604,000 and 5 electronic payments, and that was just under $200,000. Any questions there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements for the period ending April 30th, including the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions regarding those? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Unopposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Reel, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for April of 2021. And any questions on that? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? None opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Stikilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for tonight's meeting. The animal control officer's report for May 2021. Any questions on that report? Yes, Councillor Eilers.
I still am getting complaints about the rabbits. I see he's taken care of some, but that still seems to be an issue, especially in the north end. They seem to like the lettuces in all the gardens. So maybe he can take a look at that. And I also had today a person call about the crows. They're worried about the birds are being attacked, the other birds' nests and stuff. So you might want to highlight that. And that's on West and Kirby West and also Brown West. Thanks.
I was going to ask you though, do you have any practices of deterring rabbits from your garden that you might be able to give some advice to people? Because I think the pie plates are one.
Yes.
What did you have any other ways of deterring rabbits from
Well,
gardens?
there's also those little windmills that you can put on and stuff, but the thing is they get used to them. And so that only lasts for a short while. The lady has put a whole bunch, as she said, they still come in there. So one of the things that I think is a dog would be really good. Take care of the yard. A dog on a leash, because there's one that it's not on a leash, but he terrorizes the rabbits. But yeah, there's really nothing that would would be except, that we control the population. And another thing is that I've thrown stones and stuff just to get them going. Broom works really good too if you get an opportunity, but that's about it.
I think those are all great ideas to deter the rabbits. So when reviewing the role of animal control, we're looking at pets, and so cats and dogs and normal pets or pet rabbits or things that are under our purview. And then when they are different animals that would be distributing disease or perhaps could cause disease to pets or humans, like rodent control or crows or pigeons. Those are sort of the two things that we've looked at historically under animal control. In terms of larger wild animals, coyotes and bear and deer and whatnot, we talked to the province for conservation, and the poor old bunnies kind of fall between the cracks in terms like the province won't do anything with them. It's not been the city's, I guess, in the city's mandate to control the rabbits. So it's definitely something that we want to take a look at and see if there's ways to deter them or have, I guess, more conversations about what could or should be done with them.
I just wanted to comment that in Saskatchewan, they had an outbreak that affected all the rabbits and stuff. So they are disease
Okay.
carrying
Mhm.
as well. I don't have the name. It's quite a long, but it does.
I can maybe look that up.
It's serious consequences
Okay.
and can be, from what I understand, other animals can be affected.
Okay.
Councillor Real.
I've got just two questions. So I know we talked previously about documenting animal control officers' patrols that he made in Vermilion Park. I still don't see that documented and wondering if we could get that. Reason being is I live right next to Vermilion and go through that almost every day, and there's still so many off-leash dogs. So I'm wondering if we could get a report on that. And also, well, I guess maybe I have three questions. Have we done any recent communication with residents in regards to educating the community about the animal control bylaw, including the number of animals allowed to people? I think I know somebody with like 6 dogs. So are we doing any communications?
We have done. I can't tell you the exact date of the last time that we sent information out. I can look at that and we can program that in for summer and even maybe some early September back to school when people are looking at maybe some more of the rules to ensure that they're in compliance.
Okay, and just one more, sorry. And jumping ahead, I see park signage on there. Does that include, we had talked about signage for Vermilion Park in regards to, it was quite some time ago, in regards to dogs being off leash, and I still don't see that done. Is that on the, I guess, on the to-do list in the near future?
So the item that's on the agenda is just for the park signage, just what the name of the park is. Let me look into the signs because I know I'd asked at least twice for those signs to go up. And I'm getting feedback that they're not. So I'll look into that again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Mine was going to be about the leashes too at Vermilion Park because I hadn't seen those either. So
Mhm.
large ones at each of the entrances, I think, are in order. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'll call the questions. All in favor? And none opposed. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the minutes and reports from the following committee meetings. The first one, Dauphin and District Handy Van Association, the regular board meeting from May 11th, and financials. Second one, Dauphin Veterinary Services District Board, financial statements from the December 31st, 2020 meeting. And Communities in Bloom, the regular committee meeting, which happened on May the 20th. Any questions there? Yes, Councillor Bellemare.
This is like playing a game show. Hey, who's first to the mic? The handy van is moving to the train station, and that takes place the beginning of August. Okay, so just so the public is aware that there is the change in location for that service. Thank you.
Councillor Reel?
So in regards to communities in bloom, I just wanted to touch on actually a couple things. So you had a meeting in regards to part of your agenda was, sorry, my brain's going, graffiti. And just to let you know, I'd also spoken with the RCMP in regards to that because due to some other complaints that I made. And interestingly enough, we actually have a local RCMP officer who is in charge of all graffiti for the summer. So compiling and putting things together and trying to ensure that people are caught, as well as you talked about perhaps, certain colors are around. I guess the other thing is I want to encourage people to, even if it's small graffiti, to report. I'd asked him how much, because I had seen a lot, and he said I was the first one that had actually reported. So encouraging people, if they don't know that it's out there, they can't, take a picture of it. I actually did it on their online reporting system, and I got a call back the next day as opposed to phoning in the detachment. So it was quick, swift, and very good. The other thing I wanted to say to Communities in Bloom is I love that sign. I'm sorry, Patty, is it the Berry Patch or where's across from the old liquor store? Very, very nice. And took a walk through the Berry Patch and filled myself full of many berries. So for anybody that hasn't been through there, it's quite an interesting tour.
It's a hidden gem.
Question?
Yes, Councillor Bellamere.
I was wondering if anyone has heard from the Friendship Center if they have a graffiti removal. They do not have one? Okay, because I know they were waiting for a response on a grant the last time I heard about that. So okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? None opposed, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Reel. Be it resolved that Council accepts information correspondent dated June 21st of this year from the Honorable Derek Johnson, Minister of Municipal Relations, advising that the City of Dauphin has been conditionally approved to receive 2021-22 Building Sustainable Communities Program funding of up to $15,000 for the city's development plan update project. So that's good news there. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried.
Maybe just a question, what does conditionally approved mean?
We would receive the money if we meet all the requirements. So if we only spent $20,000 on the plan, we would only get 50% or $10,000 of that money.
Moved by Councillor Bellamere, seconded by Councillor Reel. Whereas the installation of city park signage was included as a capital project in the City of Dauphin's 2021 financial plan, and whereas the City of Dauphin posted a request for proposals for the design, construction, and installation of 10 city park signs on April 28th, which closed on June the 1st. And be it resolved, the council accepts as information a memorandum dated July 12, 2021 from the Information and Communications Technology Manager outlining the 5 proposals received to design, build, and install park name signage for each City of Dauphin park, ranging in costs from $34,500 to $39,905, and recommending that the contract be awarded to the following company, and that would be a local company, ReproMap Limited, for a total proposal of $37,175 plus taxes. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the ICT manager's recommendation and authorizes the city park signage contract to be awarded to ReproMap at a cost of $37,175 plus taxes. And further be it resolved that council authorizes the city park signage contract between the City of Dauphin and ReproMap to be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the city manager. Any questions there? Councillor Eilers.
Yeah, I thought that was a vast improvement from the other one that we had selected. And I saw that you had put that, but I was busy working on my CIB profile document. I would like to see just a little lighter wood. It seems quite dark. I think they put a little insert. I quickly looked, they put a little insert of a little bit of a lighter wood, and I really like the idea of the LED lights and you know, solar lighting, because that's been an issue. We put up signage, but people can't see, especially in the dusk hours, or you know, or if it's really like we had smoky days and stuff, it's really hard to see the signage. And I'm really glad of the material too.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a lot more long. So kudos to this improvement that we see in the signage.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. And this particular proposal checked all the check marks. We were really happy that they're a local business, and I will take that back in terms of the shade of the color of the wood look to it.
I think there's a little insert that they put in the side, but maybe that's just my.
Okay.
But they put a little bit of a lighter wood that I think would be a lot better.
All right, thank you. Any more questions, comments regarding the signs? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? And opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondent dated July 7th of 2021 from Peter Nadolny, Watson Arts Center Coordinator, and Yvonne Lilly, President of the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council, requesting a letter supporting DDAC's application to the Enabling Accessibility Fund in the mid-sized projects category for funding to enhance accessibility at the Watson Arts Center. And further be it resolved that council commends the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council for taking steps to make the Watson Arts Center accessible to everyone in the community, and authorizes administration to provide a letter supporting the council's application to the Enabling Accessibility Fund. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Reel. Whereas Parkland Crossing, as the site of the former Mackay Residential School, is working with Treaty 2 First Nations elders to conduct a search of their grounds for unmarked graves, be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondent dated June 29th from Wayne Olson, community minister, on behalf of the Dauphin Church of Christ Parkland Crossing, inquiring about the historical ownership of Pioneer Park, which is located between Parkland Crossing and the Vermilion River. Further, be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated July 9th from the city manager recommending a historical title search for Pioneer Park, a service offered by Land Titles for the cost of $260 plus taxes. And further, be it resolved that council agrees with the city manager's recommendation and approves both a request for a historical title search from Land Titles for Pioneer Park and the City of Dauphin's cooperation with Parkland Crossing and Treaty 2 First Nations elders in the search of Pioneer Park if historical evidence indicates it may have been a site used as a burial ground. Any questions there? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Unopposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Reel, seconded by Councillor Eilers, whereas the Association of Manitoba Municipalities solicits resolutions from municipalities to help them determine priority issues for lobbying activities and policies. Be it resolved that the Council of the City of Dauphin, along with the Rural Municipality of Dauphin, co-sponsors the following: Category 1 municipal issue, resolution to be reviewed by the AMM Resolutions Committee and then forwarded to the AMM Annual Convention in November of 2021. And that is increased funding for handy van operations in Manitoba, whereas handy van and handy transit transportation programs are offered in communities to elderly and mobility challenged residents to provide them a safe and reliable mode of transportation to assist in their independence and allow them to continue to be active in their communities. And whereas the province helps to financially support handy van and handy transit programs through the Mobility Disadvantaged Transportation Program, the funding levels of which have largely remained unchanged since the program's inception. And whereas handy van and handy transit organizations try to keep their user fees of their services as low as possible to make them affordable for their clients, but are struggling due to the lack of increased MDTP grant funding. So be it resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities lobby the province of Manitoba to review and revise the Mobility Disadvantaged Transportation Program to index the funding to inflation, thereby ensuring the viability of sustainability of this transportation option for the elderly and mobility challenged. Any questions? Councillor Eilers.
Mike, I think this would have a little bit more clout if it actually had how many years, because my understanding is that it's been, I think, one person told me that it was close to 20 years. Another one said that it's at least 15. So I don't know if we can find it, but there hasn't been an increase for a number of years. So even if it's 10 years, something to put in here to give more credence to this, because just saying that we've got increased costs won't do it. And I think they got to recognize that they haven't done anything for this program for a lot of years. I guess they're thinking gas prices won't go up and neither will vehicle costs. I don't know.
Any more comments, Councillor Bellemare?
Well, it says in there which have largely remained unchanged since the program's inception. So how long has this program been around?
So in working with the rural municipality of Dauphin, because they've been the sponsor for this program for I think most of the years, they were looking at, I believe, 2004. I'm going to go off my head. Does that sound about right, Councillor Eilers? Yeah.
Because it just started before I started on council.
Okay.
I'm thinking there was plans on 2002, 2000.
It could be. I think it maybe it took a little time to get everything in place, but I think it was the RM records was about 2004.
Any more questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Bylaw 04/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend Development Plan Bylaw 14/2010, part of 100 Cruz Crescent, residential to commercial, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. This is a recorded vote, right? So I guess we'll go all in favor. So everyone's in favor. Perfect. Motion carried. Moving on to councillor privileges now. We'll start on the online. You can set your watch to his new haircut. I'll start with Rodney Juba. Take it away, Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I lost a few pounds when I told him to take all the gray off. He took everything off, but it feels good. It was really hot. So going back, June the 21st, I attended the regular city council meeting via Zoom. None of my committees have met in the last 2 or 3 weeks, although I have a couple of scheduled meetings later on this week. So on July the 8th, I attended a Chamber of Commerce meeting via Zoom. They added the extra meeting in June, on July the 8th. They added that extra meeting because they are working on a lot of different projects that they will be rolling out in September ahead of the October Chamber Week. So they thought that it would be wise for them to have another committee meeting to go over those proposals. For community work, not too much. On June the 26th, I watched the Dauphin graduation parade. It was really exciting to see all the graduates dressed up in their gowns and tuxedos and cruising around in open flatbed trucks, and it was really good for them to get a chance to show off their achievements for the year in a safe manner. And July 1st, I watched the Canada Day fireworks put on by the fire department. I enjoyed them very much, and they were very, very well received in the community. And Deputy Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Juba. Let's move to Councillor Stikilo.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Lachlan. For myself, June 21st, regular council meeting. On June 24th, we had a DNRC meeting, and we're just moving along with that group kind of into the summer months with that group. At the meeting, they had talked about the need for a couple of summer students, summer ambassador sort of job positions that are available. And if anybody requires additional information, they can reach out to Amanda at DNRC and find out the status of that. That's about it for committee work over the past couple of weeks. I was fortunate enough to have some vacation time, so I tried my best to unplug as best I could to recharge, because it's been a fairly busy and fairly hectic past few months. A couple of things. Also, just referencing what Councillor Juba was saying, I did attend the DRCSS Grad Parade as well. I echo what Councillor Juba said. It was nice to see all of the grads out and being able to celebrate in a safe manner, and they really seem to be enjoying themselves as best they could. And again, just a big congratulations. It's a huge milestone for them in their life, and all the best in their future endeavors. I attended the Canada Day fireworks as well with my family from the comfort of our vehicle, and that was really nice to see. And just thanks to the Dauphin Fire Department for putting those on. Just one other thing I'd like to mention, I came across a program out there for youths age 9 to 11. It's the Side Hustle Junior Day program, and this is a program that's it's basically a day camp that's being hosted by the hub and being provided through the hub on Main Street. Today was the first day of the first week, but there's always next week available too in Dauphin. And this day camp focuses on what it takes to be a young entrepreneur and to start your own small business. And I just think it's great to see the offerings out there, and for young entrepreneurs to get in that mindset for youth that are interested and engaged in that type of activity. And it's just it's great to see. The program runs from 9 till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and just kind of goes through a few different aspects of what it takes to start your own business. So if you want more information on that, for next week's offering, to see if there's still spots. They were limited, but reach out to the hub and they will be able to let you know. And there is also some other week-long programs being offered in some other Parkland communities later in July and into August. And with that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Stikilo. We'll move it back here, and Councillor Chambers now, and I'll give it to Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. On June 21st, I toured the Hazardous Waste Diversion Center at our waste disposal site, which we also know as the dump, and that's northwest of the city. So that's the location that you can bring all sorts of hazardous waste there free of charge year round. So if you have fluorescent light bulbs or oil or paint cans or aerosol cans, etc., you can bring them there. And there's also a list of all the items that you can bring there on the city's website, so you can check there for more information. June 23rd, I attended the AMM regional meeting online. And on July the 7th, I attended a liaison meeting with Watson Arts Center, and City Manager Charlotte gave a description about the whole process we've been going through. And so we now have a 5-year capital plan that's been developed that lists the priority projects for this building. And the next step is, of course, to investigate funding. And we're working together as a group to submit a strong funding application for accessibility projects at the WAC. June 30th, I attended an employee relations committee meeting, and I also attended the Grad Parade. I thought that was wonderful to see. There's just so much joy for graduation. And I think it's neat that people have been able to pivot and create something like that. I think on Monday they were just saying we're going to have a parade, and on Saturday there was this amazing parade with all these neat vehicles and that sort of thing. As part of this year's grad class, I know that there were graduates that were from refugee families that have settled here, as well as immigrant families that have settled here. So they've settled in, they've gotten a good education, and they're off to university. So life looks bright, their future looks bright. Also, a big thank you for everyone who's watering their trees on a regular basis, both their new ones and their established ones. The dryness and this heat this year particularly really stress out trees and actually all plants. I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record, but I think that Dauphin's urban forest really adds to the beauty of our community, plus it keeps our homes and yards cool. Our urban forest needs lots of helpers to stay beautiful into our future. So thank you for all that deep watering many of you are doing. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. June 22nd, attended the City Council in person. On June 22nd, I had a vet board meeting with the infrastructure. They're looking at expanding the service roads down on the south end. On June 24th, we had a CIB, a Muse and Bloom meeting in person, and we filled our requirements. We had to send in photos from our community to the national organization. It was pretty hard to get pictures because it's dry. Plus, we were late in getting everything out as well because of all the frost warnings. So on June 22nd, I too attended the Grad Parade. It was wonderful for them to have some kind of recognition. They had names on the vehicle, so I could call them because sometimes they zoom by and you can't really identify the individual. And I had one of well, actually two of the ones that were graduating were really happy that it was done this way. They're not into dance and a whole bunch of other things, and they could get with their buddies. So I guess some really like this avenue. Others really wanted to showcase their dresses. So that's the unfortunate part. On July 1st, I attended the fireworks display, and thank you for the wonderful display. It was a little color in our community, and thanks to the fire department for implementing this. On July the 8th, I had a CIB webinar preparing for the judges and judges tour. For those who don't realize, this is we are being judged this year virtually, just a heads up, and it'll be in beginning of August. A lot of, from this webinar, there was a lot of very useful information with emphasis on green initiatives. With that, I went and spent a lot of time working on the CIB profile document. They don't want it called a book because they want it nice and straightforward. And they took some of the things that we've done before. We were highlighted because I always put in special projects as a special just at the end, so that everything gets kind of lost in the book, but when you have it highlighted, just one section of what we've really done, new initiatives, they really appreciate it, and they've instituted that. So that was really good to see. On the downside, our fuel pump went on our 9091 van, our Communities in Bloom van, and it was down for 3 days. And so they ended up loading it onto one of the trucks. And of course, this is the worst time because it's very, very hot weather, and puts a lot of stress on our Bloom team to keep everything watered. And 12 of our sidewalk cement planters were vandalized on grad weekend. And again, this added extra work to the Bloom team. They had to replace, and that's really unfortunate. And I want to congratulate all the graduates. Best wishes on your future endeavors. And the other thing is our Northern bicycle trails were mentioned in the Free Press this Saturday, and there's a nice picture in there as well. So that's kind of nice to have that recognition. And on that note, I just want to say people keep cool, try to keep your pets safe, and hopefully we will get that rain that they keep promising. I'm sure those weather announcers should lose their jobs because they've been so wrong. They promised me this rain already 8 times and all I got was 1/8 of an inch this morning. So anyway, I guess they can't do anything about it. So hopefully we get the rains we need. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Eilers. Councillor Reel.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Lachlan. June 21st, I missed the council meeting in person due to illness. My apologies for that. Rec Services has canceled their last meeting and are not going to meet over the summer. But Meadowlark Park, if you haven't been by, take a drive by. The tennis courts, pickleball and basketball court are progressing very nicely, looking very good. Getting back to business with swimming lessons, and the splash park is open. They are currently seeking 2 full-time custodians and also have 2 part-time positions available as well. So if anyone's interested or knows, please see Rec Services. It appears most committees have taken a break over the summer. We did have a Dauphin and District Community Foundation 2% initiative meeting. So that involves people can leave 2% of their legacy to the Dauphin and District Community Foundation through donation. So we have more information coming out on this, and this money, I didn't realize until I had joined that group how much money they put back into our community. So it's a very, very good way to sustain recreation and as well as other community initiatives, including student scholarships in our community. The Hero Club will once again have their hot dog cart out in front of the Old United Church location, which is the new Crisis Prevention Task Force building. Please come out for a hot dog and support them. They haven't had the hot dog cart out in the last while. I attended the Winnipeg OSIS Grad Parade. Very, very nice, probably much shorter than Dauphin, but very nice turnout there. I attended the function at the Crisis Prevention Task Force for Pride Week and made some fancy-dancy tie-dyed socks. Lots of positive comments received from the community regarding the July 1st Canada Day fireworks. Very appreciative for that. Like to thank Communities in Bloom for the beautiful flower baskets around town, and also a lot of positive comments on the new portion of our bike path down First. So people are quite excited about that. I had 3 meetings with community members upon their request and really enjoyed connecting with our community. Very happy to see hairdressers and personal services reopened and that many businesses can start to make an income and we can start to get our hair cut. Please remember, we've had several thefts in the past weeks, many out by the bowling alley. We've had trailers stolen, things broken into. Please ensure you report any suspicious activity or thefts to the RCMP. If they don't know about it, then there's nothing they can do. So encouraging citizens to please phone in. And that, Aaron, ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Reel. For myself, just a quick report on June 21st. I attended the regular council meeting here in person at City Hall. A few days later on the 24th, the Communities in Bloom meeting here at City Hall as well. On the 26th, like many of the other councillors, I attended the Dauphin Grad Parade. Again, congratulations to all the grads in town throughout the Parkland, the province, and really the whole country. It's great to see. I really hope that they continue this. I said it last year. I hope they continue this tradition going forward when we are back to a more normal time. But nonetheless, a great parade on the 26th. On Canada Day, I too watched the Canada Day fireworks at the grandstands. Thanks again to everyone that was involved, including the Dauphin Fire Department. Very well received throughout the community. That pretty much ends my report. I did want to just take a quick note and just mention, though, that's kind of sad today because normally in this council meeting, everyone is talking about in their privileges their time at the fair and their time at Country Fest because we don't usually have a meeting between now and then. So just wanted to mention those 2 festivals and obviously Ukrainian Festival is doing their virtual thing coming up in August. So normally we're talking about that this time and hopefully we are talking about that at this time next year. And that ends my report. And with that, moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the council meeting be recessed at 5:50.